God, you piece of junk.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Underrated Podcast. This is a podcast where we discuss the films that we feel are underrated or perhaps underappreciated, or even ones that have slipped under the radar and passed most people by. This is a show of a collaboration of friends, and together we are the Undercast Company. My name is Ariel, and I am joined by Alan.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Derek.
Hey.
And today we are going to be talking about Free Fire, a 2016 black action comedy set in the late 70s about a gun buy that goes terribly wrong. The movie stars Charlotte Copley, Brie Larson, Thomas fucking Shelby, Cillian Murphy, and actual Cannibal Army Hammer. So, this movie is very decisive amongst people, with the Rotten Tomatoes giving it a fresh rating, but audience calling it a bit of a bust. So with that,
what was its rating on Rotten Tomatoes?
Rotten Tomatoes, I think it was like I want to say a 68.
No, I think it was maybe one higher than that.
Okay, like a 60.
Yeah, I think it was 69.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was 69.
Okay, and then
I had to acknowledge it.
Okay, and then yeah, the audience was like in the 50s, so it's that level, like that bare level. But so with that, let's get into this. So who wants to start with what they thought of it? This was my pick, just to let you know. It's been a movie that I've enjoyed since the beginning, since I watched it in theaters. It is definitely one that requires, in my opinion, some rewatches. But I'll get into that later. So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I dug it. Go ahead, Alan.
Oh, no, sorry. Go for it.
Okay. No, I dug it. I watched this movie for the first time pretty recently because somebody gave me the movie to watch, and I was like, okay, let me check it out because they suggested it for me. And I dug it. It's kind of just like a tight little compact movie. There's not a lot of plot going on. It's just kind of just like a bunch of dumb criminals, it's like you said, a gang or a gun deal gone wrong between some IRA people in the 70s and just like some American gun runners. And, Charlotte Copley is, Wickus from District 9 and is in it. It's just kind of all these really good, talented comedic actors just kind of like yelling at each other and just shooting at each other. It's just like, movie. It's a short movie. I think it's under 90 minutes. It's made, it's made, very simply. It's mostly in one location, just people shooting at each other. Not a lot of plot, just kind of like this person's going this way, this person's going here. There's a little bit of like who sent these other guys here, and it's kind of revealed at the end, but it's very simple, very enjoyable, very fun. If you want to just watch a good action movie, if you don't have time to watch John Carter, you don't have the whole 2 hours, or whatever to watch John Carter, you can just watch this one pretty easily, and you'll be entertained. I'm a really big fan of Charlotte Copley. I think he's not really in enough stuff, and I think he's just this great comedic talent, and anything he says, I'm dying. Cillian Murphy, he's always just incredible. I love him in just the Batman movies, or just he's in a lot of indie stuff. Just he's great. Obviously,
or in Peaky fucking Blinders.
Peaky fucking Blinders. And then you've got Brie Larson, of course. She's this is kind of this is a little bit before Captain Marvel, so she was kind of on her way up, but hadn't really reached her stardom yet. So you just it's just feels like one of those movies. It's almost like a really a student film, but made for a professional budget and with A-list actors. Just all around, just good fun movie, and just why not watch some cool just shootouts and just some people say a bunch of dumb ridiculous shit and somebody's head get crushed by a fucking car, because that was the one part where I was like, oh fuck. But yeah, I really love it. I can't recommend it enough.
I dug it a lot. I thought it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. I felt like I wish I was on the set in the making of it, because it's just like, it's a very simple plot. It's literally like 30 minutes of like just character development real quick, getting you up to speed, and then just an hour of just like shootouts and like camping and like crawling and like just it was a blast. Like, it's a lot of fun to watch.
It's the golden hour and a half, as they call it.
Yeah, the golden half an hour, or hour and a half. Yeah, I can see though why some people might have been like, oh, it's a little not up to their speed. I won't lie, like it's a lot of fun, but yeah, I can tell like around the hour mark, it kind of has this like, even though there's shootouts and people are shooting each other, it kind of does slow down a little bit. Where you're kind of just like there was times where I was catching myself like sometimes you just have too much of a good thing where you're kind of like, I need something a little different, and like I was kind of like catching myself like nodding off, where I was like, whoa, like how is this happening? But I think it's just because it's so constant, like it's just going and going and going. But luckily there's that part a little closer down, like a little after the hour, where like you start figuring out more things, and then that's where it kind of gets you back, where you're like, all right, I'm in it. But I think that's kind of the only thing I see really wrong with it, is like, yeah, it could slow down a little bit, but I don't think it's like as bad as like, because I actually went on IMDb after I finished watching it, because I was like, damn, like, because I heard about it and I had wanted to see it when it came out, but I think I just missed it. And when I went on IMDb after watching it, and it was literally 50-50. Like, some people were like 10 out of 10, best action movie I've ever seen, 9 out of 10. And then out of nowhere, it's like 2 out of 10. I fucking hated this movie. It was crawling for an hour and a half. And I was like, what? I'm like, did you not?
Literally crawling?
Yeah, like crawling. Like,
when he's got the fucking armor and he's just like, it's an old Rhodesian trick.
Mm-hmm.
Rhodesian special forces.
And that's where I'm like, how did you like dislike it that much? Like, I don't know. I felt like it was dope. And the whole time I was thinking too, I was like, man, this kind of brings me back like being a kid, just like, with your friends, and you're messing around and you're like shooting each other, like pretend shooting, or you have like I think we were talking about in the text before tonight. And yeah, I was like, dude, I just want to like rent a warehouse with like a bunch of Nerf guns and just like shoot the shit out of each other and like recreate it. Like, oh my god. But no, it was cool.
Yeah, definitely. Like, when you sent that, I was like, that message, I was like, this would totally be us. Of like, if we go by the rules of like, okay, you get shot, you're down, you can't talk, like, you're dead, you're dead. But we would still be like, Alan, are you down? Are you down? And then you'll be like, yeah. And then like on the floor and stuff. And yeah, it's definitely such like the whole situation in itself is like a chance encounter kind of movie, but it definitely engulfs you in that. Like, you're in this chance encounter. Like, this is just, everything goes to hell like from the beginning of like, you get that sense of like, this person hates that person, or just cannot stand that person, and then this guy like came in from another situation, and then the situation that he had an encounter with, that guy shows up, and then it just like spirals out, and it's just like, you feel bad for like the characters that are trying to just get this done, like this deal done, and like, and so that's like Cillian Murphy and Brie Larson and Armie Hammer's characters of like, we just want to get this done. Let's just,
except
like,
for Brie
even
Larson was the one who fucked everybody over.
But
I'm glad she got arrested at the end.
Yeah. And so that going off of that, like, when I first watched this in the theaters, I like did not like Brie Larson's character at all. Like, I felt like, she just totally like betrayed everybody and stuff like that. And like, it was, while it was a good twist, still it was like, fuck you, Brie Larson. But now watching it today for this podcast, I was like, well, she didn't really want this to happen. Like, I think that her initial plan, her and not Vern, but the black dude that gets his brain like opened up. He
That's
gets
what
a
brain looks like.
Yeah. I think that they were essentially going to hold up the deal.
Well, they had the
Like
two
they were,
snipers.
yeah, but I think that they were still like because she was trying to make plans with like Cillian Murphy's character and stuff like that.
No,
and,
she
like,
was kind of like rejecting him at first, and that's kind of like okay, you're like kind of like oh, that's why I did kind
oh,
of like
okay.
their little romance they had,
I
the
know
little
it was very subtle and like
yeah.
it, like I said, it was like very much like all these chance encounters. Like if this was like they could have like spurred on to like a random like romance and stuff, and I really did love like I love like so with my history of Cillian Murphy is like I was very scared of him because my first encounters of him were the Dark Knight and him as Scarecrow or the Batman movies and him as Scarecrow, and I'm like, oh, he's so like he's like so scary and stuff like that. And then of course finding Peaky Blinders and all that, I'm like, oh my god, he's so handsome. And so I definitely like loved his character in this. And so um yeah, I mean, like he was such a gentleman even at the end when she like essentially like shot him, and he's like he's totally understands.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's like, you got to
Mhm.
do what you got to do. It's okay. Like you won. It's fine.
Mhm.
Like you played a good game and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and like I freaking loved it. But yeah, I do like love that kind of like that they all essentially got fucked over. Like
Mhm.
even at the end,
Yeah.
she's gonna get cut by the cops. It's just
It
like
just ends with the cops showing up, and then it cuts to black, and you're just like, good. Like that's the perfect
Yeah.
ending. Like these
yeah,
are,
like
it's like
nobody wins.
It's almost like
Yeah.
an episode of it's like if It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was like an action movie or something.
Yeah,
Just like they're all
yeah,
normal
exactly.
people and just all kind of stupid.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think there was like a sketch. Oh, I think it was an SNL sketch that was essentially this, where it was like, yeah, like, it was it might have been a YouTube sketch where it was just like all these guys just showing up. Like, I think it was a YouTube sketch because it was like samurais and stuff like that, and just like everybody just like decimating everybody, and no one like survives essentially. And I just enjoy the hell out of this movie because it's just like nonstop, and it's very it to me it felt very clean, like like we've been saying, it's very much an in and out movie. I will give that's probably why a lot of people didn't like it, because it's so fast moving. Like on this rewatch, I definitely like paused and re like just like for 10 seconds, like rewound it, because it's such a fast moving movie, and it definitely requires, in my opinion, multiple viewings because of that, because you always get something new on each viewing. And definitely, yeah, you catch on to more things of this back of like who is doing this, who are these characters, and stuff like that. So like for this one, I was like, oh, is the the guy that got brained and Brie Larson, are they a couple? Like we know that they're working with each other, but like he calls her baby and stuff like that. And so it's kind of like all these like layers that like that build on each other, but you don't really need those layers to understand like this is just a shoot 'em out movie,
Yeah.
like you could just accept it as that.
Yeah, and it does. It's like I think it's interesting that it is set in the 70s because it does kind of feel like one of those classic kind of like old school, just cheap and dirty shoot 'em ups. Just this movie was made for like $1 million, like $1.5 million or something like that. So it does kind of have that old school kind of just really gritty feel.
Kind of jumping off on the Brie Larson and the guy who gets brained. I kind of liked how it's a very simple movie, but it kind of makes you. They kind of throw in all these little small things in there to kind of
Like all
make
these
you
moments.
build.
Mhm.
Yeah, these moments where it makes you kind of build your own world for each character, like with like Brie Larson and the dude who got brained. Like I like in the beginning, I was like, are they like agents? Or are they like FBI, CIA or something? And they're like trying to bust it. And then when the snipers come in, I was like, okay, so like I don't know, it made it even more fun to be like again, it goes back to like just playing pretend, where like you go, oh, I got shot, and you're like, oh, I'm actually FBI and I have a bulletproof vest. I'm
Yeah.
okay. And then someone's like, well, I'm actually a big drug lord and I have like ×2 bulletproof like Kevlar armor or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
then
you're
you
all
kinda
on
build a
fire
story
now. I
around
just lit it
yourself.
on fire.
Yeah,
There's a
definitely
phone. We
one
gotta get to
moment.
the phone. Oh, who can get there first?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely one moment like
Well, I
that
ripped
is
out
like
the
when
phone.
when that one sniper falls down and then Army Hammer's character is like, Hank, like, is that you? And he's like, yeah, it's me. And then he's like, what the fuck are you doing? I thought you were retired and stuff like that. And it's just like, yeah, like all these like outlandish characters that like you would definitely like just make up, like, like you fall into a situation and stuff like that, and like yeah, like you said, like we're gonna play this shoot 'em up game, and then you just start the game, and then like the world building just happens like amongst each other and stuff like that, and it's just like I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Like that's the best way to describe this movie. It's just a fucking fun movie.
Mhm.
Super fun. I mean, super simple. Like, if you listen to our other episode about John Carter, if you're like, hey, tonight I want to have a twofer. I want a really simple, fun movie, and I want a really long, kind of complex world building movie.
Yeah,
Then we got 2 movies for you, ready to go.
it's funny because
And
we
it's
were recording these
8/24
back.
too.
Yeah, and like just let you guys behind the curtain a little bit. We were recording these back to back, so it's really interesting because these 2 movies could not. I like both these movies a lot. I think they're probably like I'd say both of them are 4 out of 5 for me, but like for completely different reasons. Like these movies could not be more different, but I really just had a blast with both of them for entirely like one is like, okay, we're watching John Carter, this is the thing, or who's going on, and then this is just like pow, 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 cool, this guy shot this guy, oh, he got shot on the face, and like what's this guy doing over here, and like you kind of like, even lose track because there's so many people, but it doesn't really matter. It's like, okay, oh cool, this guy Cillian Murphy's now next to Sherlock Cooper and he shot him in the face, cool, now we're going back over here and like Army Hammer's doing this thing and there's the truck is coming on. It's like you're just constantly just kind of more and more situations or fun stuff is happening constantly.
And then everyone got hit in the legs like immediately, so everyone has to crawl, and that was like,
I really like too how like when they got shot in the leg, it was more just like kind of like
a nuisance, like instead.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. A nuisance. Like they're just like Brie Larson when she got shot in the leg. She's like, fuck, and like now it seemed like again a game. I shot you in the leg. You can't walk anymore, and you're like, oh, all right.
You gotta crawl now.
Gotta crawl now.
Yeah, but then
those are
also
the rules.
like then also like fuck, and then she shoots the other guy in the leg, and then he's like fuck and stuff, and
Yeah,
so it's like
you. All right.
Yeah, like fuck you, fuck you, kind of thing. Yeah, definitely. That's why it's just like I love it.
I definitely recommend it. I definitely, it's on Netflix too.
Yeah.
Here in the States, in the United States. So if you guys are like, hey, I want to, where can I find it? It's on Netflix, right there, smack dab.
Yeah, and like even I mean, it's my recommendation, so of course I recommend it. But even though we're like telling you the general, like, yeah, this is the general concept. Like, you don't need to know anything else. Still, you're gonna get enjoyment out of it because it's just such like we've been saying, it's such a great movie that you have to experience. Like, the concept is simple, but I think that's why it thrives so much is because it is just like a concept, such a simple concept. And I really do wish like that more movies like come out like this, like, just a simple concept, just like a one room kind of story that you don't need too much lore, and you just have that, like, yeah, like we were saying, like 15-30 minutes of like exposition at the beginning, and then you're just in like which is essentially just a one scene movie, So, yeah, it's a really good concept in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just get your group of famous friends together and make a movie if you're out there and you're famous, like this.
Pretty much, and a cannibal.
Yeah. But yeah, I gotta recommend it. I gotta recommend this movie, for sure. Like we said, it's on Netflix if you're in the US. So.
Yeah. Well, if you guys have anything to add, we will wrap this up. So thanks everybody for listening. Hit that subscribe button on your podcasting apps or YouTube to make sure you are always notified when a new episode of this show comes out and to continue to hear us babble. And please, if you're willing to give us a rating and review, it really helps us and lets us know what you'd like to hear from this podcast, because we can only get better with your help. And once again, we're the Undercast Company. And also, if you want to hear more of us, more babbling from us, we do have a few other podcasts. I have a podcast called You've Never Seen ? Where I introduce movie that's considered a part of pop culture or cinematic history to one of my friends or the bro sometimes, and they're after their first viewing of said movie, or vice versa, they introduce me to movies. Derek has another podcast called Gateway Episodes, where he kind of does a similar thing but with TV shows and introduces people to or he gets introduced to TV shows through one single episode. I'm going to be on one of his episodes pretty soon, where I introduce him to Legion, which I'm super excited about. Mm-hmm. On that Marvel note, we also have a Marvel podcast that comes out every once in a while. It's called Infinity Stones and Dragon Bones, and we'll be releasing an episode on our thoughts of the Falcon and Winter Soldier pretty soon as well.
Yeah, should be out by the time this podcast comes out.
That's true. Yeah, it should be out. Yeah. For You've Never Seen, it comes out on the 1st of every month, and for Gateway Episodes, it comes out on the 15th of every month. They're on a monthly basis. Yeah. With that, thank you all for being amazing, and we'll be back soon with another underrated film, so stay tuned.
Take it easy, y'all.
Oh, so I got to tell you guys my John Denver story.